Just a quick walkthrough of getting started at the Choose Your Own Adventure task. So I'm in a GitHub Codespace. When I first open it, it's going to offer to install some extensions, which I'm just going to say yes to. Some of those are going to do things like auto format my code so it's pretty. So I'll just say yes, and then I'm going to go back to the File Explorer. I go into the public folder, and there's the index. And that has my main project. And the first thing I'm going to do is choose my adventure. And I'm going to start out with the name of my adventure. So I'm going to say this is my bike ride. This is the beginning. All right. I'm going to go ahead to the run and go ahead and run this project and open it side by side. Then I can shrink that down. All right. So now I can see right away that my bike ride shows up there. I also want to go ahead and change the title. That isn't going to show up in the little window, but if I open it in its own tab, it will change the tab title. So that's kind of worth doing. Excellent. And now we're going to create our first link. It is time to go home from work. Do I take the long way, or do I take the direct way home? All right, so I'm going to make my first choice in my adventure. And in order to make a choice, I need to make a new web page and a link. So to make a new web page, the easiest thing to do is to grab the existing page and copy it. I can also just use Control-C, and then Control-V would copy it. And then with the page selected, I can hit Return to rename. And I'm going to give my new page a name, Direct Way. Now I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and I'm going to give that a name, and I'm going to say Long Way. So now I made two pages. And in Long Way, I'm going to change the title here to Long Way. Take the long way home. And then in Direct Way, I'm going to go ahead and change the title to Direct Way. You are tired and it is time to, oops. Direct Way home. All right. So to show you how these links work, if I were to go to my page here, when I just go to the bare page, it always goes to the page at index. If I want to go to a separate page, I have to add a slash and then the name of the page, like directway.html. And there's the direct way. And if I were to go the long way, I would change it to longway.html. Now to make those links, I'm going to go back to index. And I'm going to put the A tag and the href. The href will fill in with longway.html, and I want that to match my title. And direct way will also fill in. All right, and now these have become links, and if I click long way, it'll bring me to long way. If I want to go back, I can refresh to go back to the beginning. Click direct way, it'll go the direct way back. All right, so I made my first link. You'll notice that because I copied and pasted the file, I have the same HTML head, which includes the same style sheet. So if I were to decide that I didn't like this cursive font, for example, and I wanted to go with a Courier font like this, that is going to affect all of my pages. So that's one of the reasons we want to just copy paste to create new files. One new thing, in this project you could make a lot of pages and it can get to be a lot to keep track of. So some students like to make new folders. So I could make folders called something like Step 2, and maybe in the Step 2 folder I want to make some new files. So if I were to copy the direct way, I could then paste in Step 2, and maybe I would have weight and cross. And in the direct way, I will say you get to the intersection at Route 40, and there's a car coming, but you think, do you cross the street or do you wait? Now in this case, because these are in Step 2, I need to put Step 2 slash, that's the indicator for folder, cross. Step 2 slash wait. And then when I go to these, you decide to cross the street, but alas, you didn't have time. All right, there we go. All right. Beautiful. So now if I were to come back here, if I go the direct way and cross, I get there. If I go the direct way and wait, I get there. Now we will notice that for these ones, my style sheet link no longer works because it points to styles, which should be in the same directory. So I will have to go ahead and update those links to use the backup directory. That's .. And now those style sheets will work once again. All right. I think that is the full initial demo. We've made a page, we've created it. The last step is to go into our changelog, and we will go ahead and add all of those changes, and we'll add our initial story and sync that up to GitHub. All right. Finally, if I come back to the demo, I can go into settings and pages, and I can say deploy from main and hit save. And this should now go ahead and build our page. I may have to actually tell it to run this workflow again. It usually automatically runs. Here it goes. Once this is done, we will have a published web page, which would be the final step of the project. And there it is. So this web page is all the way published at my unique GitHub URL. And you want to make sure that your links still work. once you've published it, because sometimes you can write them in such a way that they don't work. All right, all done.